What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Virzi Effect podcast show. My name is Paul Virzi, and you guys listening to another episode actually out of studio. This is one of the first ones I've been doing in a while back home because I have a special guest that is in Chicago, is not in New York to be in the studio, unfortunately, but he's an absolute monster comic. I'm so glad that he's on here, and he has a special out right now called God's Work that he did with Helium Studios, which is available right now on YouTube. So you got to make sure you check him out. Every time, it's Kevin Bozeman, by the way. Kevin, thank you for being on the show. Every time Chicago comes up, the Midwest comes up, and comedy in Chicago or comedy in the Midwest comes up, Kevin's name has always come up to me, I believe, maybe right when I met him or before I met him, and then after I met him. So this dude has been doing this a minute. He's an absolute monster. We worked together years ago at Hilarities in Cleveland. We've been in touch ever since. Thank you for being on the show, my man.
Thanks, homeboy. I appreciate you having me, and kudos to your success, dude. I mean, when we first worked together, I was just like, okay, this dude's got a different gear. And that's what you always want, right? You always want to see somebody with like a different gear. You're just like, okay.
Well,
He's like,
yeah, you were headlining Hilarities. I was featuring, and you weren't that headliner that was a dick when a feature was doing good, because you get that too. Like sometimes coming up, like I've seen like headliners not like it, or like all of a sudden they like kind of feel threatened, where you did what I know every great headliner does. And I mean, and I'm talking about some of the all-time greats. And you know what they say? They go, no, I want the guy in front of me to push me. I want the show to be great. I know if they're great for the audience, and I'm going to be great for the audience and keep that going. So that was just like that. That's really what real comics do, because you want to know where you're at, and you want to be pushed.
Yeah, because well, our system is tiered for the headliner to show up and show out. So once you like not hitting up like the showcases all the time, and you on the road, you need a gauge,
right?
And a dope feature is a gauge. So like when you was there, I was just like, looks like we're co-headlining because this motherfucker's getting off the charts laughs.
Oh no,
I never said, can you not do this? Can you
Never.
not do that? I was just like, yo, dude, kill it. I loved it.
You were so cool, and you embraced it, and you were just so like, you were so complimentary, and it made me feel really good. But yeah, it's like, for any young comedians listening to the show, and I know some do, people always ask like, what's it like? No, there are some headliners that will say this, and this is something that I know I'm against, and I know, Kevin, you're against it.
Yeah.
But there are some headliners that are like, don't say this, don't curse, don't sell merchandise, don't talk about this. And for me, luckily, I grew up coming up in New York, where the guys were just like, hey, man, don't do whatever you want. Don't listen to anybody. Go up, do what you want. If you want to sell something, it's America. Go make your money. And everybody was cool. And you were the same way. Now, you're an ex-athlete, right?
Yeah. I played like Division III. I hooped at Whitewater, which was a really high level of basketball. I mean, the conference was great. It's not like we play scrubs, but yeah, you know, I'm all into athletics. I live and breathe sports.
No, I know you do. And that's one thing that we bonded with. And with all this NBA stuff and trades going on, I wanted to talk about this before we get into your special. But I didn't realize that, like, you can be Division II, Division III, and go to the NBA. Didn't Dennis Rodman, weren't one of them like Division III?
Yeah, Dennis Rodman went to a JUCO, then he played in a really small school. Scottie Pippen also came from like an NAIA school. He came from like Central Arkansas. I mean, you got to, like, now it's easier because the internet and social media, and they see you and they balling out. But you just got to be, your metrics have got to be off the charts to go from small school to a big school. Because now if you like, say you Division III and you killing it, Division I schools have already found you and you're transferring.
Oh, okay.
So now, like, they know, like, it's not even a thing of like going Division III to the league now. If you Division III and you a stud, or Division II and you're a stud, you're transferring already before you even get before the league comes up. They'll transfer, but you're not going to have a one and done Division III dude that I haven't seen.
Right. So Duke and North Carolina and Kentucky, they know about you already. They're calling up that school trying to get you.
Right,
Yeah.
right. If you're balling, or at the very maybe not even that, but just like it could be Iona, right? Like
Yeah.
you could go from, which is going to still be a step up if you a Division III and on the bus all the time, and maybe have one flight trip for your whole per year, and Iona comes calling, which is Division 1. You're going to go to Iona because that's going to be paid for. Your school's paid for, and it's just leveling up. Just like how we talk about stand up, is how it is with athletics. You always want to be at the highest level you could possibly be at. Like otherwise, what's the point?
And that's one thing that I love about you, man, because you are always, I come across guys on the road and I hang with people on the road, and especially guys that aren't in New York or LA, but you're in a major market, and you're in a great place for stand up, which is, you're not just in the Midwest, you're in like one of the best cities in the world for comedy, which is that Chicago area. But a lot of times you come across people that I don't want to say fade out, but like the success thing is, and I've talked about it on the show, but the success thing in what we do is you got to keep setting goals, short term, long term, and keep moving and keep going. And every time I see you, it's either some show you're promoting, some show you're producing, an album you're doing, now a special that you drop. It's always something that's moving in the direction of getting better, and moving up. And the people that don't do that, and there are some great comics that don't do that. There are some great comics that are on a hamster wheel. I'm going to do a spot tonight at the Cellar. I'm going to go do a spot here. I'm going to do it. And all they're doing is spots and paying rent. And then you're going like, all right, man, but when 15 years goes by, if you're that dude running, I got to do a spot, I got to pay the rent. It's like, and listen, I do think some people are happy here though. I think there's a few people that like, hey man, I'm paying my rent. I'm drinking after shows. I'm going out, that want that, but that's not, man. You have a family as well, right?
Yeah, of course. And I think, in the end, dude, we're artists. So artists create. And then I'm with you, man. There's so many comics. It's just you could do their act, but for them, like their act by the back of your hand, because they've changed nothing.
Yeah.
Like they've created no new material, and you get in where you can fit in. Like I think success is on the eye of the beholder. Like what you consider successful may not be what somebody else considers successful. But yeah, I mean, like once I get done, like even after this album I just dropped, like I'm tired of that material. Like I'm burned from it. Like I'm ready to. I gotta create something else because then like the performance starts to drop when you don't love your material anymore, just your performance. And that's when you go into crowd work and get drunk on stage and just trying to create something because you're bored.
That's 1,000% right. And it's kind of where I'm not there yet. I'm a few months away from that because now I have the hour. I'm ahead of schedule. I have the new hour and I'm ready. And I think I am coming to Chicago. I think I'm going to do it at the Den Theater this fall.
Dude, I would love to just come and just watch, man. Most of the time, we just always gone. So like, come on a Tuesday.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm thinking of like October, November. I mean, I still got to talk to everybody, but that's kind of what I'm thinking. But it's like, I'm ready now. The Netflix special has only been on Netflix for almost literally just like 1 year now, but I was working on the new one before a little bit, and now I'm ready. So I think I'm getting ready to go. But it's like you said, if those jokes that I love start to get boring, or those jokes that I love that are like was my new baby a few months ago, and now it's like I'm touring with it on the road, and I'm going, hey, I still love it. I want to keep the love now. But if this thing goes on 6 months to a year, all of a sudden the crowd feels when you're not enthusiastic about it anymore. Yeah, that's when it's time to dump it.
Yeah, the crowds, they can't quite place it, but they feel like a lack of energy. Like it's It's just like a product. It's basically you're a salesman, and it's a product you believe in. If you no longer love that product, then you're just not going to sell it as well. That's just basic life 101 right there.
All right, guys, it's Fitbod, everybody. Fitbod, do you have summer fitness goals? What are they? Our new sponsor, Fitbod, will transform how you work out this summer. It is easy. Okay. It keeps you motivated too, man. Like during the day, the app is amazing. It's quick and it's easy. Okay. If you're looking to push your limits at the gym or jumpstart your fitness routine, Fitbod can help. The Fitbod app creates customized workouts based on your goals, fitness level, and available equipment. It learns from your previous workouts and adapts as you improve. It's the perfect companion to help you crush your fitness goals this summer. Start making progress towards your fitness goals today with 25% off of a Fitbod prescription. I'm sorry, a Fitbod, subscription. I got that right. What did I say? Prescription? Subscription. Okay. A personalized workout plan designed for you. And no, I'm sorry. I'll do that again, Andrew. A personal workout plan designed for your fitness level and goals. Fitbod creates custom workouts based on your personal goals, experience, available equipment, and more. Build your fitness habit and stay consistent all summer long. Workouts that improve as you do. Fitbod's powerful technology understands your strength, training ability, studies your past workouts, and adapts to your available gym equipment, keeps your gym sessions fresh and fun by mixing up the workouts. Track your achievements and learn new exercises. Keep track of your achievements and personal bests with Fitbod's progress tracking charts. Learn new movements the right way with over 1,400 demonstration videos. And Fitbod is great, guys. It's good for somebody like me who just, I don't have a set schedule all the time, but it kind of knows that, which is amazing. And it's what I find helpful is that it kind of tracks my habits, which is awesome. Hey, I wish my wife did that. Okay. No, it tracks my habits and it understands, I don't have all this kind of equipment around me, but I obviously want to stay in shape. It tracks all that stuff. It gives you personal bests, which I'm competitive. I always want to beat. So that's what makes it awesome. Also, I travel a lot and it's great for that. So if you travel a lot and if you're not always able to have exercise equipment and everything, Fitbod is definitely for you. I'm actually, for the summer right now, it's actually perfect. I think everybody should try this product. It's not too late to crush your summer fitness goals. Try Fitbod today. Get 20% off, guys. If you're a listener of the Virzi Effect, get 20% off your subscription or try the app free at fitbod.me. Okay, that's fitbod.me/Virzi. Okay, that's Fitbod, fitbod.me/Virzi for 20% off your subscription. It's a great product. It'll help you get your fitness summer goals this year. So do it. And that's it. Andrew, I'll close it a little better. That's fitbod.me. Sorry. Yeah. We'll do that again. That's Fitbod, fitbod.me/Virzi for 20% off your subscription. You know what it made me think about though? Do you think like an airline pilot is like in like 30?
You don't say that, dude. We fly way too much. Yeah. No, do not even put that. Do not put that in the universe. Paul, stop right now.
You're right. It was just the comedy mind. Like, he just flicked the switch. Like, oh, man. Oh, here we go again. Man. That's hilarious. I gotta fly to Cleveland. Oh, my God. Let me see what these clouds are talking about. Yeah, a guy just got divorced. He's taking honeymooners to Hawaii. They're all happy. He's just like, here we go,
Yeah.
No, but there are certain jobs, obviously, that you can't do it like that, military shit. But yeah, no, I think when you're a creator, like you said, when you create stuff like us and stories and jokes or whatever, you got to kind of keep it fresh. And I think the people that aren't lazy do that. But you and I are similar in a way. And that's why I always like talking to you, because we also have similar interests in sports and stuff. But another thing is we're both doing this as fathers, and we're both doing this as with our kids growing up, and we want to balance being home. Because that's a lot of the questions I get.
And in our acts, we both fuck our kids up.
Yeah. Well, you're one joke that Kevin did that you guys got to watch was really funny, man. And it was really like honest and good, is when your son was giving you the list for Christmas. And then like, once it got too much, once it got to like iPad and Jordans, you were like, look, man, Santa's not real. You were like, listen, Santa's not real and we can't afford that. So you got to scratch some shit off the list. But that's like father stuff that I think everybody goes through. But, we got to get on airplanes and leave them, especially when they're getting older and they're asking about it. But then we come back and like, now we've gotten to parts of our careers now where we can kind of pick and choose, or like we can be home. Yeah. We kind of know how to do it. But that's different than a lot of my friends, and I'm sure your friends too in comedy, right?
Yeah, man, for sure. Isn't it crazy though? Like, especially when they're young, like really young, and you leave for like a week or 2 weeks and you come back and they got a whole different vocabulary. You like, did I just go into a time zone? Like what just happened? That you have picked up all of these words, you look bigger, you look older. So yeah, man, that's the balancing act, dude. Like I tell people this all the time. We stand-up comedy, you are not meant to succeed. It is a job where you are supposed to fail. Everything about it is unnatural. Even think about like this, Paul. Think about like the club and the 2-drink minimum. Even that is unnatural. The club wants you to drink as much as possible, but also shut the fuck up.
Never thought of that.
Think about it.
I never thought of that.
It's so unnatural. Everything about it. Meanwhile, we have to speak for an hour and trick the audience into having a conversation where they want to shut the fuck up. That's why you'll never get rid of hecklers. It's impossible if you're asking them to drink this much alcohol, but also shh.
That's really, you know what? I never thought about it, because they make it seem like just have 2, but they don't want people having 2.
No, 2 is a loss. It's an L for them. If the service got a $24 tab, they're like, what? Yeah. What are we doing?
That's
we want drinks, perfect. We want shots. It's all set up for us to fail. So anybody that's doing anything with stand-up, if you're getting a paycheck or a spot, congrats, because you've gone further than 95% of anyone that's thought about doing stand-up. And then when you throw in the curveball of having a family and then making and depending on if your significant other is working or not, and finding that balance and the babies, look at how many people we lose as comics. We lose them to, drug addiction, drinking, suicide. It's just we on the road, and we are on the road. Oftentimes we'll be by ourselves 22 hours a day.
Yes.
So if you got issues and you by yourself 22 hours a day, those issues are not going to go away. They're going to manifest.
Yeah.
So it's so many things that's lined up against us. But look, when you break through, it makes you love it that much more.
And I think having a family with the balance, what you said, I kind of, and I'm sure there were times you did too, where you kind of embrace being alone in a hotel room. But what would be sad is if you don't have it. So as much as people go, oh, family's tough in this business. No, man. It's like you're with your family, you have a good time. Then you kind of decompress in a nice hotel, relax, and then you come home refreshed. Like we turned it in our advantage because we almost had to. Like a lot of comics go, I eat like shit on the road. I eat better on the road. I lose weight.
Me too. So do I.
I eat better on the road because I only get the meals a certain time of day because you're only going to go out. Especially like I was in Houston, it was 105 degrees, right?
Right.
So you go out, you eat, you go back to the hotel, relax. And I'm like, oh, I'll just eat when I get to the club. So there's a lot of time where you're not eating, where when I'm home, I'll go in the fridge, grab something. So I kind of live more relaxed and I live more rested on the road. But another thing too is if you have mental health issues, and this is to help people, man, and this podcast has helped people with mental issues for sure, soldiers, and I really means a lot to me. But if you're alone and you going through shit, call a friend. Like, comics, when they drive on the road and they call, right? They go, hey, what are you doing, man? I'm just driving back. I'm driving home. That's my time. Even from the city, which is only an hour. Like last night, I was on the phone with a couple friends just on the way home, and all of a sudden you're home, but you need that connection. And if you are going through something, being alone is not, thinking alone and not having anybody is not good.
Yeah, man. Speaking of, that was great. Like the last time I was in the city and we all got together, it was me, you, and Yana smoking sticks.
We got to do that, man.
He gave me a ride back. And I was like, yeah, you live close by. He was like, nah, man, I live like an hour north. I was like, damn.
Yeah, like we hang out, smoke sticks, and we drive like an hour and 10. But when you come down, we gotta do that again. But I think too, now we're in a game where I was talking to a comedian yesterday about this, and you're set up for it perfect. I'm set up for it perfect. And I think every comedian that's been doing this between 15 and 25 years, whatever, is set up for it perfect, where the disadvantage is the people that are going quick with the TikTok and the YouTube. But then when they get there, it's a one and done because the show's not there. So
they got the legs.
The audience is so happy to see their favorite YouTuber, and they're going to take a picture with their favorite YouTuber, and they're going to sit through the show. But when they're leaving, they're like, oh, I'd rather just watch the YouTube thing because it seems more of a YouTube or a TikTok shit. But when we post a clip and the shit goes viral and there's a line outside, we've been doing this shit 2 decades.
Right.
And they're gonna get hurt. And that's the beauty of it. So I look at it like, instead of being like, man, it's a new time. It's a new time with clips and people that aren't, but I'm looking at it like, no, because the cream rises. So if we can get clips out there and get known and show things, like you put this thing out, you put this, God's work hour out, and now people can see that. But now if those clips or bits go viral, God willing, right?
Right.
God willing, those things will viral. Now somebody's like, oh, dude, I heard that Kevin Bozeman's God's work thing, man. That thing was hard. Let's go see him. He's going to be at Helium in Philly. Now you sustain that.
Yes, exactly right.
That's not a one and done. That's like, no, that's work for decades. And that's the beauty of, so I embrace it now instead of being like, oh man, somebody doing it 4 years is filling theaters. That's good for us.
That's great for us. I mean, listen, I don't know what we just in some ways we just got this natural hater in us, but I don't care if it's my comedy, my style of comedy or not. As long as people are watching comedy and enjoying it, how can that be bad for us? We're in the business of comedy. So if it's just going to turn them on, they're going to be like, oh, this was good. And then they see something like you and they go, oh, wait a second. There's levels to this.
That's exactly. And likewise. And I appreciate that. But that's the thing. It's like, and when you say we all have a little hater, you know what it is? I realize what it is. I don't even, and some people are different. Me and you aren't really on the level of like hater from just knowing you, and
right. Of course.
Mean, comics will talk and gossip, but like on a hate thing, I'm not that negative hater, and I know you're not. But you know what it is? It's when you know what you can do, and you see somebody doing it, and you're like, oh shit, like that should be me. I want that to be me. But there's two ways. There's 2 ways to go about that. You could be bitter and drink in a bar and talk shit, Or you could do what we're doing and go, hey, man, then that our time is coming.
Let that. I always say there's nothing wrong with hate as long as it's you make it a positive energy. Let that be a driving force and be like, oh shit, this dude doing it, this person doing it, I'm doing it, as opposed to sitting there trying to undercut what they're doing because you ain't doing it, because you ain't putting the work in. I mean, it's all a lot of it is some of it is luck or whatever and whatever, but it don't matter if you ain't putting the work in.
If you ain't working, it doesn't matter.
Right, yeah, it don't matter. It don't matter. You could be, you could be Johnny Kemp, just got paid, a one-hit wonder.
Yeah.
Or you could
yeah. But
that's like you never heard of him again, but he had that one song, Just Got Paid. Friday night. You just could be just a dude that's just keep cranking out, classics. It just keep just a consistent career, and that's where we're at.
You think those guys are like when people are like, oh, you're a singer, what do I know you from? And they're like, he's like, just got paid. They're like, oh yeah, and they're like, what else? And then they're like, he's like, well, that other one about nah,
nah, man. I do, I'm into these cover songs now. I do like a lot of cover songs. I ain't really feeling that original content. I like to go in and crank out some Stevie Wonder.
Yeah, they start acting like original shit's not cool anymore.
Yeah,
just because they don't have it.
Like when Vanilla Ice was had bottomed out, he was like, I already did the arenas and shit. I'm done with that. Okay,
one tour.
That was your call. That was you made. Yeah, man. With Madison Square Garden want to do it. Nah, man.
Man, I already made millions. I already made millions.
Trying to do the Garden again, man. What's wrong with you?
Oh shit. No, it's true. It's like you turn it into positive. It's like the Joker in what was it? The Jack Nicholson Joker when he was like, wait till they get a load of me. That's what you do.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing. I'm like, oh, okay, good. If that person, like when a comedian's movie bombs, that's bad for us. People don't understand. That's bad for us because if a big studio is going to give a comedian that's coming up money, then that means that if we get to a certain place, they go, hey, you'd be good for that movie. So you should always want people and your peers in this business to do good because we're in that business. What's the saying? When the tide rises, or when the tide's high, all boats rise, or something. Some shit like that.
I mean, that's generally, if it's generally boat shit, I won't know. I won't know it.
I don't. Yeah, I fucked it up.
To what you were saying though, it's like the think about like Jordan, and I'm always gravitate to sports analogies, but it's real. So Jordan's commercial success, and then look how many more advertisers started fucking with athletes because of Jordan's appeal, like Tiger Woods and LeBron and all of those people. So it's the same thing. If they pay money to Jordan to sell a product and he didn't sell a product, why would they fuck with other athletes if Jordan didn't do it? But it's the same thing with movies. We want Sebastian's movie to do well. We want Bert Kreischer's movie to do well. We're not pulling against that because then studio goes, yo, if you got something, we can fuck with you because we know that there's a market out there. But if those guys' movies fail, then they're like, dude, these are two of the biggest comics on the planet. If they ain't doing it, why should we?
That's right. That's exactly right. Because
why should we fuck with you?
Right. Because
I'm pulling for it.
Yeah. What's that?
I'm pulling for him.
Of course, me too. And if those movies, let's say, make 100 million, then all of a sudden one of those executives at one of our shows, and they go, hey, man, let's talk because we know that there's a path to success. We know what the formula is and we know how to build it. So let's get a script and blah, blah, blah. So when it doesn't, so that's why I always look at it like that. There's two types of people, man. There's negative and positive, but there's also lazy that can't be helped. And that's the other thing. Like there's a lot of people that stay lazy. They want to drink for whatever, whether it's their fears, whether it's their upbringing, whether it's the insecurity. So to them being safe and not taking the leap, it's like, I think Chaz Palminteri said it, like you can't, somebody that doesn't want to be helped. Like when you have to tell somebody something about their career, like I remember, I don't want to mention names. There's a couple times.
You should.
There's a couple times I was on the road and I see a veteran comic or somebody that's good, and they're in some state that's, not known. And then all of a sudden we do a weekend and they're like a, 14, 15-year vet, and they're funny and they're good and they did a good job. And then they say to me, "Hey man, you motivated me this weekend, man. I'm going to really do something." I'm like, then you're dead, man. Cause if it takes somebody coming in to show you the work and to put in the work and to put in their heart and soul in every set, and then you go, "Oh man, you know what? I think you inspired me." Then it's like, man, that's a bad sign.
So, okay, I'll push back a little bit. Because I think we all hit a rut at some, at some point. Like, it's just like that motivation.
Okay, I see that.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
I see that.
You on the road, and it's week after week after week, and you're doing the same thing. And then you see somebody that just got a fire to remind you why you're doing it.
It's
not like but I get what you're saying. But on the other hand, I would say like the biggest thing is like we build in, and I used to do it all the time.
Oh, shit. Hold on. I got you. Good.
Where I would do things where, built in self-destruct mechanisms, so I can always have an excuse. And the reason I think especially comics do that is because it's so vulnerable. We're the writer, director, producer, star. So when it gets rejected, it's rejected on a very personal level.
Yes.
Right. So if you an actor and the movie bombs, you can blame the script, you can blame the director, but the songwriter, whatever, whoever played guitar off key. But if we fail, it's like, whoa. It feels like we're being rejected as a human. So what we do to compensate with that is we build in little self-destruct mechanisms. Like, okay, we got this showcase. Oh shit. What if I'm not good enough? But I can always just snap on a crowd or snap on people and get the back of the room to laugh. But the front of the room is like, nah, dog, we ain't having it. And you can go off and feel fake good about yourself, be like, yeah, I got the back of the room to laugh, even though the producers ain't fucking with you, because they like, dude, we don't care that you can make your buddies laugh. What do you have to show us? But you build in these little self-destruct mechanisms just so you can have an excuse. But once you just become completely vulnerable and no, I took my shot, and if your shot ain't good enough, then so be it. But then that's what we got to live with.
Well, man, you know what? I think you just nailed it. I've seen what you said is 1,000% right, and I've actually seen that scenario play out in front of me a couple times. And I agree with you too about like, when you said you're going to pull back on what I said about the people, I do think, sometimes you could sometimes seeing somebody, I guess there's a difference. There's a difference if you're smoking weed and drinking and you're kind of just laying in the cut and somebody comes up, you're like, oh, I got to snap out of it. That's kind of like, that was what I meant by in trouble. But sometimes you could just be working and then somebody just makes you go, oh shit. All right. Let me get back on, on track. Cause we do go through things in life. This shit
dude, here's something. I have some horrible news to share with you.
Oh no.
Horrible news.
Okay.
Cleveland, hilarities. The chocolate bar is closed.
The chocolate, I was just there, but I only did a one-nighter.
Closed.
It's closed, man. So now we got to find another chocolate martini.
There was only 3 of them in the country. Dude, when we first met, him and I hit it off. We was just hit it off, and then we meeting up to watch a football game. I was like, Virzi, dude, and it's right in our hotel. Like the bar's right in our hotel. It's like, dude, you gotta have this chocolate martini. And he was looking at me like,
dude, it was.
Don't tell another man you gotta have this chocolate martini. And I was just shaking my head like, okay, just get this. And then I was just like, it was a salted caramel chocolate martini. And then as soon as you tasted it, you was like, hey, can I get another one?
I remember that.
You ordered back to back without even finishing the first one. I was like, It's
I
a
said
different
that
level.
sip was so good. I'm definitely having another one. I ate the chocolate straw and shit.
Yeah,
Dude, that was the best chocolate martini I've had. But I'll tell you, the bar next to it, so when you walk out, you go to the left. What's it
yeah.
called? It's got shit. I forgot the name of it. Not Wonder Bar. It's the bar right to the left. It's like almost like you go downstairs, and it's almost like it's one of the best Moscow mules I've had in the country.
Really?
It's the freshest Moscow mule I've ever had in the country. I mean, you have like 3 of them and you get hit, but it's Cleveland, that little strip, even though that's all that's there.
Dude, that little sports area, it's like that little bubble. And of course, right, you got all stadiums are right near each other, right? They're all within walking distance.
Yeah.
So of course you're gonna have like that's such a huge driving force for the comedy. You're gonna have like those great bars because Michael Simon, that chef, he has a spot there.
Yep.
Right, he had the spot there. That's where I found like the pickleback, because that's when I discovered
you told me, dude. You gave me chocolate martini, pickle juice, whiskey, and shit. I didn't know what I was doing. Dude, you had a bunch of shit, and it was all great.
It was great.
You're a hang, dude. You're a good. You know what? This thing is telling me. Hold on one second, Kev. This thing is telling me to upgrade because you know what I'm going to have to do. This thing is going to time out in 5 minutes, so I'm going to call it. I'm going to call it part 1. I'm going to call it part 1. And then we'll go. I don't know what's going on with this Zoom. It's been a while, but we'll just go right back and do another one.
Yeah. I'm good.
But see, that's the reason why. Like, you're a good hang, man. Like, I think maybe me, you, Giannis, and maybe 1 or 2, like depending, should do something in Chicago where we just do a 4 headliner show, like 2 nights in a row.
Homeboy, I'm about to do. I'm working on. I shouldn't even be saying this, but it's happening, dude. I'm putting it out there to the universe.
Yeah.
I'm about to start doing having a Bozeman Fest in Madison, Wisconsin.
Oh, that's what's up, man.
I know. Dude. Listen, I know for a fact everyone is going to want to be a part of that because that club takes a backseat to no one.
Dude, I'll tell you what, man, and everybody loves that area too. Like, that area is just it's a cool place to hang. The crowds are great, and we would come out, man. We would all come out. It would be crazy, dude. And you could get multiple venues, right? Or you would just do one venue.
To start, I'll probably just do Comedy on State. Maybe I would consider doing like a bigger theater show that's just right down. The Orpheum is 3 doors down from Comedy on State. I would do that. But for now, I would just try to get my homies to come, people that I want to kick it with the hang, just for the hang, and just do like it's just a weekend of shows.
The sports arguments alone. The sports arguments and the cigar smoking alone together would be worth the flight. You know, it would be worth the flight. And then to get on stage in front of crowds like that in that amazing room, dude, that would be a blast, man.
Now, you know, though, like if y'all gonna talk sports with the big dog, you got to bring your A game.
You definitely shocked Giannis. Giannis was like, yo, I never even thought of it like that. But see what Kevin does, and we're gonna get into this. We're gonna cut this in 2 minutes, and we're gonna come right back. But they ain't even gonna feel it because he's gonna splice it together anyway. It doesn't matter.
All right.
What Kevin does is Kevin comes in with a question. Like, he comes in with this trick shit. We'll be like, look, go ahead, tell me who you're. But he knows what he's doing because he knows you're gonna say shit that he already knows is gonna be wrong. So then he go right because you did that to me. You're like, give me your best 5. The starting 5 that'll never lose. And in my mind, you start going Kareem, and he's just like, but what you do is you go, oh, who's gonna play good together? And you shocked Giannis, and he was like, yo, but I got one for you, and you're gonna disagree, and we're gonna talk about this. I'll leave a little cliffhanger because we're gonna get off this in 1 second, but I'm going to say something that you and the fans are going to disagree with, but I'm going to say it, and it's about basketball.
You got receipts? Like you got facts to back up whatever it is you're saying, or is your
I can't.
argument going to be from an emotional standpoint?
No,
Is
no,
it an emotional argument or
no, it's not emotional because it has to do with nobody that I grew up. It has nothing to do with any teams I love. It has nothing to do with anything like that. And I don't know if I would say, I guess maybe some facts, but more on what I've seen, what I've watched, like the things that I've watched and seen. But I also take something else into account in sports that I think a lot of people don't. Some people do, but a lot of people don't.
okay? Go ahead. Yeah.
So here's my thing, okay? And for everybody listening, Kevin is, like we were saying, Kevin is probably one of the, I would say, top 3 people I've ever talked to about sports arguments, and he's just a dude that is just one of those dudes, man. He makes you think. You said one thing, though, that was really funny. At first, I was like, is this guy a dick, or is that the funniest thing I ever heard? Was when you said, I just said something. I started getting hot, and you were like, really? Is that how you're going to talk to me? Is that how you talk to your wife? I was like, oh, shit. I was like, is it what? I was like, this dude, is this like a sports art? Was that a dick? No, but all right. So here's the thing now. Now, a lot of people are going to get heated with this. We may lose some women, and some people are going to get heated with this. Now, here's the deal. A lot of people are talking about Michael Jordan versus LeBron.
Yeah.
It's the GOAT. To me, that's not for me, I don't know what, but this is not my argument. For me, that's not a question. For me, it's Michael. It's always been Michael. It will always be Michael. That's my opinion as far as everything. But here's my argument. My argument is this. I really believe in my heart, okay? I want to talk about Kobe Bryant versus LeBron James as far as who I would take. Not as far as what somebody skill set is. Not as far as what somebody... I am talking about the absolute will and heart of somebody. By the way, rest his soul, because that one hurts me because Kobe and I were the same age. Dude.
Hurts, dude.
People around, like, dude, the Kobe and his daughter and those 7 people in that helicopter, dude, that shit, to this day, I still think about it, shake my head, and it makes me sick. The Kobe death with his daughter and those people, it hurts.
Oh, man. Boy, I can't even watch the Redeem Team.
Dude, no, when I see him, and I'm getting the chills now. I post a lot on my story about his motivational things that he said. Now, listen, LeBron James's literally physical attributes, his basketball IQ, and what he can do in that body with basketball is something that is completely remarkable. But I got to tell you something. Kobe not being in the discussion. Now, Kobe's got 5. Here's the thing, dude. I don't really count. Tell me what you feel about this. I kind of put an asterisk next to the bubble championship. And here's why. I mean, look, they won it in there, but nobody's traveling. They're all in this like camp together. Listen, it's just a weak one to me. But what do you think about that bubble championship? Like, I mean, I guess it has to count.
It's gotta. I mean, it's just like one of those things.
It's nothing you could do about it. Yeah.
Right. It's like it's still better than an ABA championship.
Right. And like you said, they had like we're saying, they had no choice. So it's tough.
Yeah, it's just the way it is. I think like I think the biggest benefit was they had like a couple of months off, and they were able to get a healthy Anthony Davis. But Anthony Davis hasn't been healthy except for that one time.
That's right.
Because of all that time off. But if they played a full season, I'm not sure you get a healthy Anthony Davis. But everybody knew once everyone says they're in and they're in, like, it was clear that the Clippers did not want to be there. And I thought they were the best team, but they did not want to play in that bubble, and they lost. But LeBron is chasing the GOAT status, so there's no way he was not 1,000%
full, yeah.
in that championship. But once everyone agrees, it counts. It counts.
I was watching some highlights of Kobe in the playoffs, and I was watching some big shots because I've heard people go, well, has Kobe had big moments in the playoffs? And he absolutely, his perimeter shooting in some of those Western Conference finals, man, there was some there. Now listen, and some people argue, well, you can't just say LeBron had people because Kobe had, Powell, who was amazing at the time, and also Lamar Odom. But when I look at a guy, that never left. I know he had Shaq. I know all the arguments against Kobe, but you look at a guy that never left. The one thing about Kobe and LeBron, which is very similar, is pretty much no injuries their whole career. Kobe at the very end, but they pretty much stayed on the court if they would miss a game here or there. So if you go injuries, very similar. One guy didn't move around and hop around. The other guy did. Both incredible. Where I give it to Kobe, if I'm a coach that has to have one of those guys, I feel like LeBron started to want the ball in big moments a lot later than when Kobe did. I feel like LeBron was hesitant to shoot a lot early on, even those Heat years. And then something happened with LeBron where he just flipped it. And then when he went back to Cleveland and won, that's one of the most undeniable ones, where I think Kobe's will and wanting the ball and wanting the shot happened earlier in his career. I think if I had to choose, and I really thought about this, probably at a ridiculous level, but I really think if I had to choose, regardless of LeBron's ability, and I think Kobe's will and Kobe's determination and work ethic, and his drive to be like Michael as much as he possibly can. And he got pretty close. If you ever watched the images of them, like they were very similar.
Yeah.
I would take Kobe Bryant over LeBron James if I was a coach and I had to pick one of those guys based on the heart. And the thing that I was saying before we lost touch was there is that thing that Tom Brady has, that Derek Jeter has, that Michael Jordan has, that it's like if you lose, it's devastating. And the one thing that really touched me with Kobe is when they lost those finals to the Celtics, and he was saying, being respectful, being a sportsman, giving pounds to the Celtics, and the tear was coming down his face, and he walked in and seeing his teammates laughing when they're losing and him sitting there just seething in anger. I just don't know if LeBron is built that way, and I want the guy who's built that way on my team. That's just me. And somebody else said, I don't know if it was Stephen A. Smith or if it was somebody else, but somebody goes, how come Kobe is not talked about with LeBron?
Lots of people say that.
Now or before?
I think, yeah, no, I've heard, Shaq has said it. Shaq has said it, and I know Skip Bayless has said it.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, a couple. I shouldn't say a lot, but a couple of people have said.
I heard for the first time. I heard maybe a month ago or 3 weeks somebody say, "Can we talk about Kobe versus LeBron?" And I really thought about that, and it's a tough one because I seen LeBron up close. LeBron was like 10 feet away from me at the Garden playing. And when you see the size, a guy that's like Karl Malone size that could play like point guard, it is a crazy thing to see what he can do. But I also seen Kobe at the Garden, and that shit was crazy too. So it's a tough one.
All right, let's break down a couple of things we're just saying.
Okay. Well, okay. I can tell by your tone.
No, it is a fair argument. I believe that Kobe to LeBron is a fair argument than LeBron to Jordan. That part I agree with. And I also think like a lot of times these things are answered on the court, and LeBron blew that opportunity. They were both playing prime basketball. LeBron James is like, because he wasn't getting to the championship, that's the only time we didn't really was able to answer questions. We saw Jordan and Barkley, we saw Ewing and Hakeem, and then we saw Bird and Magic, we saw Wilt and Russell, we saw Kareem and Wilt, we saw Isaiah and Magic. So all of those things were always answered. LeBron and Durant, Steph and whoever, like we seen it all, but we never saw LeBron and Kobe, which could have answered a lot of those questions. because LeBron's team was winning 60-something games, but then they were losing in the playoffs. Like, okay, I get if you tell me you lose to the Celtics. There's no shame in losing to that squad with Garnett, Pierce, and Ray Allen, right? But if you telling me you the GOAT and you can't beat Dwight Howard, Hedo Turkoglu, and Rashad Lewis,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's a
Right?
great point. Yes. Yes.
You lose in that one, you win that, then a 60-something win team, then you going against the Lakers, and then we see them go head to head. Then we can answer some questions because we can see it right there. It's
Yeah.
right there in our face. So we never got to see that. But this is why I would take LeBron. I believe that there are, so for one, backtrack. It's Jordan and Bill Russell, then there's everybody else for me. I think those two, like, they check the boxes that needs to be checked. I don't care how many points you score. I don't care how many necessarily final appearance. I like the fact that you could say, once I got to the top, it was a wrap.
I like both of those.
Can't nobody else say that except for those two. Matter of fact, can't nobody else say that in any fucking sport except for those two. Maybe Gretzky when he was with Edmonton and then he left for whatever reasons he left. But the things that always qualify in GOATness is you got to have some sort of mixture of athleticism and skill, right? You got to have a crazy drive, crazy like competitive spirit.
Yep.
You have to have a super high IQ, and then you got to be a leader. And that's where I think LeBron gets Kobe. Kobe was, because Kobe, they both are chasing the ghost of Michael Jordan's GOATness, but Kobe's was a little bit more maniacal, where him as a leader, he couldn't necessarily nurture, where LeBron, I think, is just a better leader. I think Kobe was, more driven.
It's a great,
more driven.
Yep.
But leadership wise, I think, Kobe's just berating and not, getting his players always on board with him. Where LeBron leadership, I think, gets him. But that's the only reason why I give LeBron the edge over him. But I disagree with what you're saying. But I can't say, like, if you tell me LeBron's better than Jordan, I'm cutting you off. I have zero interest in your argument. Yeah. But if you tell me Kobe is better than LeBron, I could see it.
I agree
that
with
makes
everything.
Sense.
No, everything you just said was perfect. And that's why I wanted to talk to you about it, because I really do. Giannis does to a lot of people. And guys, I'm not just saying this because he's on the Virzi effect. I'm not just saying it. Like, Kevin Bozeman is like, dude, this dude is like, really, like, your arguments and your stuff and how you watch the game and the things you say about it. I've been saying Bill Russell doesn't get talked about enough in this for a long time, because, and not that I was old enough to watch it, but I learned and I saw it when you see
did you watch the Netflix one?
I didn't watch the whole thing. No.
Oh my God, dude, it's so great.
But
it's
dude,
so great.
His defense and all the championships and all that stuff, it's like you have to put him there. I love what you said too about, I definitely think LeBron would, even though LeBron berates a little bit and like will throw his hands up, Kobe was definitely more of, like you said, Kobe was just such an animal and he was like maniacal with it, where he might have, but then what offsets that for me is like the drive and determination of the two. And then that goes to Kobe. It's a very good argument. I think it's the argument that should be being had all over the place instead of the Michael. I think Michael being involved in any of these discussions is crazy because of what he was defensively and what
all
he
right. Is. Here's my new game for you. This is a good one.
Okay.
Give me the Mount Rushmore of NBA players.
All time.
Yeah, Mount Rushmore. All time.
Okay. From my knowledge now, from my age and my knowledge.
Yeah. Wait, can you transform into somebody else?
No, I meant like some shit
From
that
my
like
age
going
and
back. I meant for what I saw, like or like learned.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
But I didn't see Oscar Robinson. I didn't see
Of
Oscar
course.
Robinson. Yeah.
Of course.
Well, Michael Jordan is definite. Okay, that's
Yeah.
so it really should be what are your three? Because it's
Exactly right.
Michael's there. Okay. I think you got to put Bill Russell there because of the amount of championships. Okay. See, this is where it gets tricky because I'm a big time Magic Johnson guy. I'm a big time Magic Johnson guy. What he did at point guard, and I'm gonna have to think about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
I love how you say that like someone's got a gun to you. Like Kareem. Yeah. Like, can I say Kareem?
I would have
Jordan,
to say
Russell, Kareem.
I would have to say Jordan, Russell, Kareem, and then the next one is the really hard one because you got LeBron, you got Kobe, you got Magic, and then I'm trying to think of like another center that could be because I know that there's Wilt Chamberlain and some people say Shaq because of how dominant he was. So I'll be honest with you. If I'm being honest with you, I honestly need to. I don't know who I would put. I don't know who I can put third yet, but the first thing that comes to my mind is the 5 championships Magic had and how Magic was a leader and Magic being the point guard that he was. I would take Magic over Bird, as great as Bird was. So I guess right now, I got to be honest with you. I do not put LeBron James in the top 4 all time. I don't. So I would say LeBron right now in my mind is 6 or 7 all time greatest, and he's not done yet. Now listen, if LeBron wins another one, if LeBron stays with the Lakers and he can have a performance in the finals and win another finals, then I think the discussion gets completely flipped on its head and people have to really start having a serious conversation. But I would say Michael, Russell, Kareem, and Magic Johnson.
All right.
All right. What's yours?
Okay. So first of all, you are absolutely insane for not having LeBron James in your top 4. He is definitely top 4, but
okay,
he is not in my Mount Rushmore. Here's my Mount Rushmore. All right, dude. See, don't give me that look. Go ahead. Just here, let me out. It's Jordan.
Yep.
Magic, Bird, and Steph. And I'm about to explain to you. Explain to you why.
Steph's incredible, man.
Mount Rushmore itself is not the 4 best.
Hold on. Let me just say this before you say this. Do you see what he did, everybody, when I said he was going to do a trick? I went to the guys that I thought were like accomplished the most, did this. He's got a definition of what Mount Rushmore really means. Yes. And he's going to tell me why. Go ahead.
Yes. Right. Mount Rushmore is not the 4 best presidents. It's the 4 presidents that did the most important things to have the growth of America.
There it is.
So when you think about it like that, who are the 4 dudes? So I know obviously it's Jordan. Jordan's going to be on any box, whoever you start with. But who's done more for the game besides Jordan and Magic and Bird? Like when they came into the league, the NBA Finals was on tape delay. When you had that all-white Celtic team in Boston versus that Showtime team, that made the NBA what the NBA is. It was big man throw it down. Now you got big dudes running point guard, small forward, scoring, those 3. Now, the 4th one to me is also a no-brainer. Why is everyone playing the way they're playing right now? Is LeBron James trying to play like Steph, or is Steph trying to play like LeBron James?
Right. No, you're right. And look, I see it with my son. I see it with my son's friends.
Everyone shooting. Everyone is drafting people that can shoot. He single-handedly changed analytics He
Now,
made Under Armour a basketball shoe that people Under Armour, dog. We're talking Under Armour.
yo, that's a
Ain't
great.
nobody clamoring for a pair of LeBron James, as
That's
great
great.
as he is. Ain't nobody clamoring. It's the dudes that's elevated the game to where it is Jordan, Magic, Bird, Steph. They only Jordan is in that group is in my top 4.
Okay, now
But
based on no, go
so
ahead.
it's the most important players to the elevation of the game, the NBA. Ain't nobody like LeBron, Shaq. Those are my take on that is those guys are freaks of nature. When you're freaks of nature, people can't duplicate that.
Right.
So people don't try to ain't nobody trying to emulate Shaq.
Right.
Or Wilt or
but here's and I know what you're saying as far as like influential. It's almost like when people say the Beatles are the greatest band of all time, and I'm like, no, but they're talking about the influence of it, what the Beatles brought, and how bands changed because of the Beatles. So I understand what you're saying, but the Bill Russell thing, can't you say that Bill Russell kind of changed the big man being a defender instead of a scorer? Didn't he? Because wasn't he like more of a big man that would stop big scorers like Wilt and stuff? Like, isn't that influential?
Okay, if you tell me that if you show me the body of work where all the centers that came into the league decided to be defense first, then yeah, I would you could have that argument, right?
Well, he's the best. Would you say he's the best defensive big man in history or no?
Yes, I would say it's him and then Hakeem Olajuwon
are the two best defensive big men.
Yes, but that's what I'm saying. Like, Shaq wasn't like, I need to model my game after Bill Russell. Kareem wasn't like, I need to model my game after Bill Russell. Will Chamberlain didn't say, I need to change my game to be more like Bill Russell. So influential. I mean, my son actually made the argument. It was just like, because he was like the first real dominant African American that it opened up the door for so many African Americans. And I don't know, like that to me, that was like a legit argument, but I still think like no one has modeled their game after Russell. Everyone has modeled their game after Jordan, Magic, Bird, Steph.
Yeah, you're basing it on the influence of it is a great, and that's exactly what you did with when you said starting 5 teams that would win. You weren't looking at the skill set. You were looking at the what they would be together as a unit. As a unit. And that really is that's a great argument. We got to get Giannis in on this.
Doc, you know me. I'm always throwing you curveballs.
Oh yeah. As soon as Kevin goes, all right, I got one for you. I'm going. This is a trick. He already knows. He already knows where I'm going, and then he's gonna have it. But I love. Listen, there's one thing to have sports talk with people that are dummies, and you're smoking a cigar, and they just say shit. You listen to people, and then you have sports talk that's like, yo, this is like legit. You can have a sports show in Chicago that would be like,
Dude, I got such a great idea of like having like no one knows more sports than comics. Like we live in just a round table of like me, you, Giannis, someone like one other person. We could rotate in and out like different comics and stuff, and just some sticks, some good drinks. And just whatever the hot topics are, like who wouldn't watch that,
dude? If you had if you had a table of like 6 comedians, like national touring headliners that love sports, smoking sticks, just having these arguments that we're having, dude, who is not? Dude, people would probably just light a stick themselves and sit through it and just be like, "This is the best."
I know, and and also just a quick plug for myself, like. Virzi comes on my podcast, The Ball Hawk, and because I handicap football every week, and I get my homies to come on and pick like their 5 best games. I think you came in, you went 4-1.
Well, I beat the this is true because me and Bill Burr, we do Anything Better, sponsored by BetMGM. and 2 years in a row. And listen to how many games, man, because BetMGM even was like, the top dogs at BetMGM were like, what's going on with I beat the BetMGM book 2 years in a row. So what we do against the spread. So what we do is Bill picks 4 NFL games. I pick 4 NFL games every week against the spread. And last year I beat the book by 9 games, and the year before I beat it by 4.5 games because I have
great.
theories. I have theories. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But what I've learned about gambling on football is this, and this is the difference, I think. It's a bet that I can live with losing. When I place that bet and I look at those teams and I look at who's on the road and who's away and I look at the injuries and I put all that together and then I look at the line and I go, you know what? That team should not lose that game by that point, or that team should lose by more than that. When I really feel that, I could sleep at night with the L. And when I could sleep at night with the L instead of making that emotional shit, because the only time I get emotional is with the G-Man, because that's just I can't help it, you know.
Yeah, of course. That's why I very seldom, when the only time I bet the Bears is when I'm fading them and I go, I know they're going to lose this. Take your emotions out of it. Like my best bet on the board was 2 years ago because I do over unders, and I was just like, I think the Bears was like 7.5. I was like, and this was when it was a 16-game schedule. I was like, dude, there's no way they got 8 wins in them. I go, there's 0 chance. And they won 5 games or something like that. It was just like an easy bet. Like I'll bet them on, but I'll never bet the Bears when I think they're going to win, because I don't know if it's because I really want them to win.
Right,
that's how you love them.
Yeah. That's how, like when the Giants. I knew the Giants. I really had a good feeling the Giants were going to beat the Vikings in the first playoff game. Daniel Jones was like 22 or 25. You know, Daniel Jones, man. I mean, I called that from years ago. I mean, he had 5 interceptions last year. The kid's only getting better. I think he could play, and I think now that they're protecting him and he's got weapons. I think Darren Waller to the Giants is big, but the Eagles. When the Eagles were coming, when the Giants had to go to the Eagles, and then even when the Eagles went to San Francisco, I was like, the Eagles are going to be real tough, man, because with that defense. But when it's hard for you to admit because it's your rival, that's where you got to kind of, when it comes to gambling, put that away.
Yeah, like let it go.
There are times when I can't, because it's my number one love is the Knicks. But there are times where I almost was like, I should bet against the Knicks tonight because I know what they're going to do against this team. But I just don't have it in me to get that. And if I got that dub, I would feel horrible taking the money, betting against my guys. But no, I think that there's 2 or 3 games a year that are locks that you just have to really go, hey man, that's like my thing is that homecoming theory. I think I told you that. And if my fans that love the sports, when they talk Virzi Effect, because Virzi Effect is kind of shifting with guests talking about specialty stuff. So I had a cook on. I had a dude that's a cook, and he's got an amazing cooking show, The Food Freak. Not another cooking show. He's got 1 million subscribers on YouTube. Then I have, so you're like you're a comedian. So, but people love when a comedian or somebody has a specialty, and your specialty is clearly sports. But one thing I talk about on the show is I have a homecoming theory. And my homecoming theory is, somebody said it was only I said, I think it's a better percentage than 50. Someone's like, no, it's actually 47 point something. So you're still losing. But that's like a fan. So I don't know if that's real. But my homecoming theory is this. If a good football team loses a heartbreaker to a team they're better on the road, okay? So let's take a good team, okay? Let's say the Buffalo Bills right now. Yeah. If the Buffalo Bills lose a heartbreaker in Indianapolis, a team that they should beat, right?
Yeah.
And Buffalo's next game is at home, I would, the majority of the time, I will take the Bills to cover, because now they got the shit kicked out of them all week in practice. They're all pissed off. They just lost to a Colts team that they easily should have won. They had to do that on the road, so now they're pissed. The fans are rabid because they're coming home. Okay, now they're playing. Let's say they're playing the Cardinals. Okay, and the line is like 7.5. A lot of people will get scared by that half. I'm taking Buffalo to win that game by 10. That's my thing.
What if it's the Chiefs and it's 3.5?
Now you scare me. Now Yeah, no, but that's a good question because now I think it's a close game, but I think that in that situation, I think the half point is a real difference maker.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I mean, it's going to be a half because right, isn't a home field advantage worth 3 points itself?
is that what? Yeah, yeah. So
So yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So the half point against the Chiefs, that's a perfect Vegas line right there. Because
yeah,
everybody's like, oh, the Bills should win, but it should be a close one. So that might be a game. I'll be honest with you. That might be a game where I walk away from my theory and I go, you know what? If it was another team that they should beat, I think the blowout comes, but I'm not gonna touch
yeah.
it. So Bill gets
That
4
hook
and
is
I
a
get
that
4.
hook is a that hook is a thing. That hook is a motherfucker
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
gambling.
Yeah.
I mean, I would, y'all probably all sponsored up, but I would come and crash that one anytime. Picking games. I mean,
No, dude,
I'm all for it.
we have we sometimes have guests on the thing and I'll bring you in as like a specialist or you come in and you just tell your stuff and everything like that. We would love it.
Yeah, we just when I have you on mine, we'll talk about the one on yours because I mean, you were great because I bring in a different comic or entertainer to break down their picks and for same way with you, it's top 5, but you can make with mine, you can do a prop bet if
You
you
could
want.
do like a tease. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You can
Yeah.
do a prop bet. You can be, good. No, my favorite bet on the board was always uh y'all field goal kicker over 1.5 field goals because you guys always stalled at the 20.
Yeah, yeah. That's right. Graham Gano.
Yeah, I took that bet all the time. Just like they don't score touchdowns. They march down the field
They
and
get
they
down the
settle for
field
field
quick
goals.
and then they
And dude
stagger.
is solid. He is
Yeah.
a solid kicker. It was just like it was just my best bet on the board that I bet every week. So
I got to run in a couple, get my kids from basketball camp. You know who their basketball camp teacher is?
who?
John Wallace.
John Wallace? Syracuse John Wallace?
Syracuse John Wallace went to the Final Four with Syracuse.
Yeah.
He also played for the Knicks, the Raptors, and the Heat. And he is my son and daughter's coach. And my son shoots the lights. Bro, my son was in a rec league game, just in a rec league game. Dude, I had dads texting me when I was on an airplane. He had 36 and 9 threes. Dude, I had NBA players and D1 players talking about my son's shot. I got video of my son in the corner. There's this great video. He was playing AAU after the season.
Yeah.
Yo, he's going into 9th grade and the varsity coach knows him, talk about him and shit, but he was open in the corner. Dude, I had the leading scorer of St. Joe's in Queens. Actually, Chris DiStefano, the comedian, he's the all-time leading scorer for St. Joe's. It's Division III in Queens. He saw my son's jumper and he's like, yo, that kid's Jimmy is pure. And then he had some NBA, John Wallace and them are like, he's my height and he hasn't had a growth spurt yet. Skinny, but his shot is really pure. And I have video. I got to send it to you. He's in an AAU game and he's open in the corner and you hear me and I got the phone on him. And you hear me go, he's open in the corner, hit him in the corner, hit him in the corner. And I hit him in a corner and he just whapped it. And I was like, see? And I just go off. I turn it off. But before I get out of here, man, it's been such a pleasure. And I'm really happy for you. And I'm happy for your success because all I do, me and you are similar in a way where it's like this just steady moving up, man, and steady working and steady putting stuff out. And we're in the marathon, not the sprint. And you're doing the exact same thing. Family guy, great guy, funny guy. And this God's work thing, talk about that so they can get this. So Helium Studios did it and they can get it right now.
Right on YouTube. It's right there. It's free. Just go to you could type in Kevin Bozeman, God's work. Obviously, that'll show up on YouTube. You can go to Helium Comedy Studios, check it out. It's just like, I did my last album I did was Black Superman, and that was in 2021. And then I cranked this one out. So I feel like every couple of years, I just got to get that. I just got to get it out because it's, some of it is just like time sensitive and it works for that time. I don't know if I'll feel that way 2 years from now. So, when it's ready, it's time to put it off and put it out there. Helium Comedy Studios was asking me been asking me to record something with them for a while. So I fuck with them on this one. And yeah, man, I'm happy with it. I just one take, one shot.
I could tell.
One shot, homeboy. I did it, and
I know.
so it's not a whole lot of editing. One shot, one kill.
I can tell everybody listening to this, man, Kevin is one of the best comics in the country, and that's the God's honest truth. Go check out God's work and plug whatever, man. Plug what you got.
So obviously, my podcast is the Ball Hawk podcast, and for tour dates, KevinBozeman.com for tour dates. Other than that, man, just everybody just keep supporting live comedy, dude. If I'm in your neck of the woods, it's come out.
Well, Kevin,
and
Kevin's a sure shot. Kevin's a sure shot. So if you see Kevin on the bill, and you want to go laugh, it's like my son from the corner open. It's going in.
Madison, Toledo, Madison, Dayton, and Toledo are probably like my next three.
You know what we'll do too? We got to be in touch. You, me, and Giannis. Maybe we'll do like a 3-headed monster at the stand or something, and then we'll just go get some drinks and smoke a cigar and talk some shit.
And just hit record.
And hit record. That'll be that'll be the podcast. Guys,
oh boy.
For my dates, just go to paulvirzi.com. I want to thank everybody who's been listening, especially since the numbers have been going up in studio. Please rate and review the Virzi Effect. Get the Virzi Effect everywhere you get your podcast, Spotify, iTunes. Support Kevin Bozeman. Support all the podcasts. My podcast with Bobby Kelly, Bone to Pick, Anything Better with Bill Burr. And we're going to be on the football thing coming up right after the summer. So we can't wait to do that. Check out Nocturnal Emissions streaming on Netflix. Check out God's work. And I will see you guys next week. Thank you.